The tide goes out, the tide comes in. Same thing with the liquidity in the crypto market. See, the same stories get told every bear market bottom. It's the end of crypto, XRP's dead, Ripple's abandoning XRP. We hear the same story. But just like we see in nature, right? Everything has cycles. And just like this tide goes out, it's gonna come back in. And that's the same exact thing that we're gonna see happen with the liquidity in digital assets. Now, are you gonna get extra liquidity on your Bitcoin? Are you gonna get extra liquidity on your Ethereum or your Shiba Pepe Fuzzy Wuzzy coin? Probably not. I'm not here to deliver that hopium for you. You probably are gonna be stuck holding the bag on that crap. That crap's probably never coming back. But digital assets that are focused on utility with real institutional adoption, I'm trying to buy as much as I can right now. Now, with the tides, we got it down to a pretty good science where we can tell down to the exact minute when low tide is gonna hit and when high tide is gonna hit. I wish we could do that for crypto, where we could say we know exactly where it's gonna bottom out and exactly where it's gonna top out. That would be great. Obviously, that's not how it works. And so you gotta catch a range. So just like when I take my kids out here to go play in the tide flats, we'll say, okay, low tide is at 1 p.m., 2 p.m. Let's try to get out there close, like in that range, so that we can go way out into the water, into the tide pools, go find little crabby crabs and go have fun, right? We don't need to time low tide perfectly, just get within the range. Well, this is the same way that I invest in digital assets. I know that we're near the bottom. Could we go see another low? Absolutely. But I'm already dollar cost averaging in at these levels. And the big catalyst that I'm worried about right now is this carry trade in Japan starting to unravel quickly again. If you recall, August 2024, the last time USD versus JPY pairing went up to 162, this is when Bitcoin dropped 30% and XRP dropped 35%. So we're at that level again. And all of the interventions into the currency market by the Bank of Japan and the Minister of Finance, kind of in tandem there, they're not having the impact that they want. They're not pushing this back down. They're not working. And Japan very well could be panicking here soon. And it could cause a huge amount of liquidity to be sucked out of the US stock market, crypto, and the US Treasury market as well too, because Japan has a bunch of US Treasuries that they can dump on us. And so we have to be ready for that, right? Could we go see new lows, XRP below $1? This is very well what could get us below those levels. For Bitcoin, this is what could bring in 52 to 48,000 on Bitcoin. And that very well could be our bottom. That could be the end of the bear market for crypto. We're very, very close. But there's still some fires we got to put out. The Iran-US conflict in the Middle East, that's a catalyst that could still, the markets are kind of numb to the conflict over there right now. And everybody just doesn't know what to expect. Nobody trusts any of the news that we're getting out of that. But then you also turn to the other fire that we got going on over there in Japan. Right, so there's a few fires that we got to put out, and then the liquidity comes back into digital assets. But for now, there's a couple catalysts that could still suck some more liquidity out of crypto. The good news is that most of our leverage has been wiped out. But the bad news is that the macro around us is still enough of a weight, a burden, and a suck of liquidity to go shore up the Japanese currency. And you're also just seeing it's all part of a broader liquidity crisis and what we're seeing in the private credit funds, etc. Everybody wants liquidity, whether it's a private fund getting hit on the redemption caps, whether it's the Japan carry trade, or whether it's the hyperscalers, which are already flush with cash, but they're trying to raise even more capital for their CapEx build out of the AI and the data centers and everything that goes along with that. But I thought that today was a great day to come on out here. I actually didn't have internet connection at my house, and so my office is my truck here today. But I figured, what better representation could I find than the tide being out a little bit right now? Perfect representation of where we find ourselves in the crypto market. And when a lot of people want to say it's dead, it's never going to come back, that's just not how nature works. It's not how these cycles work. Are you going to get exit liquidity on Fuzzy Wuzzies? I don't know about that one. I hope it works out for you. Good luck and God bless on your degenerate meme coin trading activity. I have no hopium to give you on that. But if you're invested in the right assets that actually have utility and use case and are actually getting institutional adoption, you're going to be more than fine. You're going to get rich, especially if you're loading up right now. And so for me and my community, we're taking advantage of these prices here. I've already started dollar cost average, like I said, and I even have an order down at 92 cents on iTrust Capital. So if they want to give us that sub $1 XRP, I'm going to be scooping it up. And of course, then it just stays right there in free institutional grade custody with iTrust Capital. If you guys haven't signed up with them, you definitely should. I have them linked up down below. And when you use my link and fund your account, you will get a $100 funding bonus. And for me, I just think that free institutional grade custody is the way to go. You shouldn't be paying anybody for AUM fees just to hold your crypto. And then also self-custody, I think, is too risky at this point. A lot of issues with that. And so although I still use some self-custody, majority of my holdings are now in institutional grade custody. So 92 cents is where my buy order sits on iTrust Capital. You guys let me know in the comments down below where your buy order is sitting at for XRP. What else are you buying? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you want to check out the coin reviews I've been putting out in the Discord group are getting real good. Using different AI tools, my research is speeding up. It's getting better. And then the graphics and visuals and how we're able to compile the data, some of the upcoming lessons and the educational content that we got coming for our private community, I'm really excited about. So if you guys want to check that out, ZachRector.com, sign up through Patreon to get access to Discord. We would love to have you in the family. And I'm just gonna sit and wait for this tide to come back in, let this liquidity come back in, and we're gonna make a lot of money on the other side of this. Thank you, and God bless you all.